Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of Michi's Esport Diaries, and today we're again talking about the, first of all the FormulaSimRacing race, and second then about the Formula Pro race round 2. So first things first, the FSR race. What shall I say? After the disappointment of the Formula Pro race at Spa, the FormulaSimRacing race has at least had some more positives, as of course with getting pole position completely unexpected. That meant that the adaptations we have done from the Formula Pro race and the learnings that we've taken from that race and implemented into the car for the Formula-Sim-Racing race, despite the challenge was a bit different, you know, with 2 times tyre wear, full Grand Prix distance, and no refueling and stuff. But like the point is, the findings and the debrief and the ideas and that the technical adaptations that we made to the car have paid off, and we were able to fine-tune the car, so we got rid a little bit of the problems that we've had in the Formula Pro race, and therefore did not suffer from those in the FSR race for the majority of the time. Yes, in race trim we haven't quite been able to keep up with Colin Spork, but we've looked good for a P2, a P3 for a majority of the time. Like, you know, lap 1 was a bit of an issue with getting overtaken and like dropping back to 3rd, and Colin Spork ran into the white distance. Roivers then overtook us and ran a little bit away with Granqvist before, towards the end of the first stint, we kind of got back on them a little bit. So that was obviously great. And then the race went on pretty good. We've been aggressive on the strategy, more aggressive than we have been in the beginning, compared to the beginning of the seasons, where we've been more or less conservative on how we use the tyres, how we push the car, and so on. But other races have shown that being aggressive on the strategy has paid off to a certain extent here or there. So I was like, you know, just try something completely different, especially since the Formula Pro race, from the strategic point of view and from the way you're driving the car, is more towards pushing and being aggressive anyway. So I was just like, you know, just keeping the philosophy, just sort out the issues that we found out about the Formula Pro car's behavior, and then just go from there, and try to approach the race different than you would normally do in the FormulaSimRacing 2022 series. That paid off very, very well till lap 41, where we've had the incident then with Dennis Jordan, and what shall I say? I mean, we've both discussed the incident after the race. We both agreed to a certain circumstance, and I think everything is said about that. Neither of us, or basically in that term, I have decided to not protest it. You know, simply because there is a certain attitude. If you know, I mean, of course, I dropped out of 3rd. I was denied a potential 2nd place, and at the worst, because I think Zebra would have got us both, at worst I would have got 4th, and yeah, the crash denied that position, the crash denied that good result, and we got 12th in the end. And sadly, with our rejoin, I think we ended also the race of Noah Roivers, who then later disconnected, I believe. So yeah, I mean, I did decide not to protest it because everything was said about it. We could agree without like accord, let's say. And just move on and hope that next time we meet on track, things like that don't happen. However, obviously, while I rejoined the track, sadly in an unsafe manner because I ran into the anti-stall while trying to get going again, I came into the path of Noah Roivers. That wasn't my intention, so when I came back and I wanted to go to the outside so that Roivers could do the switchback and drive through the corridor that was between me and the stranded Dennis Jordan still. But yeah, I stalled in first gear and then was slowly rolling on the track, and there was no chance for him to avoid me. So he ran into my back, killed my rear wing. I killed obviously his front wing and stuff. And well, I not only got protested for that, but I also got protested for driving home without a rear wing, because somewhere in the rule, I think it's paragraph 28.11, it says if you loosen the rear wing, you have to immediately escape from the racetrack. So instead of driving home and taking points for 12th or 13th after the repairs, or 14th or whatever it was, I've been protested actually for driving home, not further killing anyone, driving home in a safe manner to not interfere with anyone anyway. So I've been protested for that. I do not know what the penalties will be. Potentially, according to the rules, I do not even know. Is it a warning? Is it a 2-place degradation? Is it even a disqualification? Is it perhaps a race ban because it's a breach? I think it's a breach in online etiquette. Personally, I wasn't aware of this. And second, yes, I know in real life you would not be able to fix the rear wing on a car anyway, but that's why we sim race. In sim racing you can do it, and I've not killed anyone, so yeah, I mean, honestly, if I get a penalty, then I get a penalty. Like, I'm not going to appeal it, no matter how ridiculous the penalty might be. I just gonna leave it. Like, I don't really have time for that, and I won't spend time for that, because there is much more other important stuff, and stuff that is much more enjoyable than dealing with ludicrous penalties. Anyway, so about the FSR race, yeah, we have one more pole position to our statistic, which is great. Sadly, we have been denied an awesome result. We had a mega stream, over 260 people watching at some time. That was amazing. And if you guys have missed the race, then you want to make sure that you check it out again, and put down your comments in the comment area below if you have any questions towards it, or if you want to just mention something towards that FSR race. Next up, Formula Pro. This past Monday was round 2, and after Spa has been a real disaster and a real catastrophe, Monza has been the complete opposite. We have just prepared as much as we did for Spa. We have just changed a lot on the car though. So whatever we run in Spa, you would expect to also run kind of same philosophy at Monza, which to a certain extent is true and is exactly what we've did. But obviously we've done some minor adjustments here and there, which just got more stability into the car, more reliability, and it felt like it widened the operation window of the car up just a tad. It's not much, but just a little bit. And you know, if you, I mean, just take a piece of paper, yeah? So 30 centimeters in length, and you say if the operation window is like half a centimeter. It's difficult to hit that. But let's say the operation window goes up to 0.08, like 0.8 centimeters. Then it's still slim, but the chance that you're hitting that operation window or constantly driving on it is obviously 60% higher. And I think that was the main difference between race 1 and race 2. Janne did a clinical qualifying lap, like, oh my god, the guy is so on point. I kind of screwed up my qualifying to a certain extent. I could have or should have done a 0.4 because I did a 0.3 in the practice. So a 0.5 was a bit of a meh. So 19.5 for those that haven't seen the race. Here is the link. And yeah, I don't know. Like I'm not going to mourn about like a 19.5 in the beginning of the weekend. I would have been, immediately taken that because it took me so long. Like I did 80, 90, maybe 100 laps of qualifying trim, and I started with 99, got stuck in a 19.8, then did a 19.6. The next day couldn't even do below 20 for a half an hour or so. So it was so difficult to just hit it, and at some point it just clicked. and that was a bit too late maybe, because it just clicked on the Monday, ironically. But yeah, as I said, just a little too late to really build the confidence on it. And you really need to have the confidence, so when you go out, you know exactly what the car can do, you know exactly what you need to do, and then you just put in whatever is necessary. And yeah, sadly, that was not 100% the case. Just the reason why we kind of left a little bit of margin there on the qualifying. Effectively, I think with an okay-ish lap, we would have been a 10th faster, starting 6th instead of 8th. Would have probably not changed anything because the way we've decided to go on the strategy, well, we ran into trouble in the first stint anyway. So we got overtaken, got dive bombed by the Wolves cars. They were on a 2-stop strategy, interestingly. So they kind of ripped apart through that train, and I just wanted to have the train. I just wanted to keep going with someone, you know, save a bit of tyres, save a bit of fuel, get a little bit of an overcut going. Or just trying to play the long game, like being defensive and push later on in the race. And that didn't go too well at all. So while we jumped Bono Ruiz on the start, we got up into 7th, then dropped to 8th, and the next guy dive bombed. We dropped to 9th, and then we were a little bit stuck in 9th, and suddenly, like, there was a little bit of a mistake of mine. And then we got dived again, and suddenly I found myself into 12th, and I was like, oh my god, like, I think I'm about to lose the shit again. And that was also the point when I was overdriving the car, so you now remember that 0.8 centimeters, I missed it. And I was like, hey Michi, like, cool down, get yourself into the driving rhythm, stop overdriving the car. And then I got back into this operation window area, and the car finally clicked again. Was then able to follow rFactor, which was quite interesting. Like, you saw different philosophy of setups. rFactor wasn't really able, or I'm not sure it wasn't able or didn't test, but he did not mount those anti-cut curbs, especially turn 4 and 5, while we were constantly on them. Now, as a matter of fact, that we were able with Yanni to put the car in pole. I was 6th. Damien and David finished in 11th and 14th, but post-race penalties got them into 9th and 10th. As an overall team result, it is an amazing result. Like, 4 cars in the top 10, the top 24 drivers of the world in the Formula Pro car on rFactor 2. That is obviously amazing, and that just speaks a completely different language compared to last time, where Yanni somehow just held on and got lucky into P5 or P6 at Spa. And Damien, me and David, we finished effectively 16th to 20th, somewhere in that area. So that was a complete different thing, and that also was an indication for the fact that we've really done a well job on the setup. And the guys have done amazing, have done a really great job. And with a little bit of an overcut we got there, thanks for the fuel saving that we did behind rFactor, we were able to undercut some people from the overcut from the soft to the medium tire. Then we were, you know, on fresher tires compared to other cars, and I had the possibility to move up 2 or 3 spots still, despite I was been held up a bit by Ibrahim Khan and Erhan Yayovsky. Not so much by Yayovsky, but Khan was quite an interesting battle. We're going to see some shorts about that. And that was amazing. Like, we, you know, all the time that we kind of lost, not all the time that we lost in the first stint, we were able to recover in the second stint. Why do I say not all? Because one of the guys that have kind of dive bombed me in the first stint was Peter Burlak. I think when going from 8th to 9th position for me there. So he had a stronger pace in the opening stint though, and I couldn't really, like, when being on the medium, outplay my advantage over him. So he was still quick enough to kind of slowly walk away. Then also we had this battling going on with Ibrahim Khan and Erhan Yayovsky. So he was out of reach, so I couldn't regain the time over him. But obviously I could regain the time on Ibrahim. And finally, on the very last lap, on the very last occasion actually, could overtake Erhan Yayovsky for P7. And you know, with Yene winning, us P7 Burst Esport was the best scoring team, so that was amazing. Also, I'm very happy for the Red Bull guys. They have done a lot of work. They have had a super harsh and difficult season 1, where they finished surely way under their potential. And also Spa didn't go too well for them, with Alex being demoted from 12th to 24th on the grid after a bug in the game. So now they finally had their issue and trouble-free race, and I think they are 3rd and 5th in the end in the race, 3rd and 4th after post-race penalties, and I'm happy for them. You know, those guys are good friends, especially since we're German, hanging out and stuff. So on a positive thing, I really enjoy them having a good race as well. Obviously next time we want to still be ahead of them, but I mean, we were ahead of them. We were best scoring team, and the Red Bull scored just 2 points less. But yeah, anyway, the reason, or the point that I'm trying to get across is they've done a good job, they've done a good work, and the positives we take away from this, apart from the points, like there's just so much positives, some negatives as well, but mainly positives. The great thing is, though, Yene Simincic has won his first ever Formula Pro race, and that just gives him and the team the confidence to know, hey, we can beat them all if we're on the top of ourselves, on the game, on the race day. If we sorted out the setup in a good way, then we can beat the likes of anyone. Like, yeah, Siggy was 4th with 7 kilograms of penalty weight. Rietveld was further down behind because he had 10 kilograms. But then Bono Ruiz, he just had 3 kilograms. And remember, Ruiz was quite dominant last year with winning 6 out of 6 races in season 1. Yesterday was surprisingly slow. And I don't want to attack him or anything, or be disrespectful. Like, he is an alien on rFactor 2, he's an alien in F1 Esports, and he's an alien in iRacing. He is one of the most complete sim racers that I do know, and his performance that he has showed over the years is just so consistent, so dependable, and so good. But what I want to try to say, also for Bono Ruiz, is, let's just say, lacking the 5% on the setup, or I don't know, whatever went wrong for him, but something must have went wrong, because if everything would have went right for him, then he would be up front. Like, he qualified in 6th, stalled then on the start for whatever reason a bit, dropped behind, but also in the race he dropped down to P14, and he never really got the pace back, you know. So he got even, I think, later into the pits, but he wasn't closing in on us in the later stages of the race. And yeah, that means that also the machine, the beast himself, Bono Ruiz, is beatable. And that is another conclusion we take away from that race. And now we just try to keep up the momentum, keep putting in the work. We will try to be as good prepared as we were for Monza. And then we try to keep pushing to keep getting those results. In the end, P7 is awesome for me. I'm really happy. Getting a top 10 in this field and this grid is incredibly hard, and if you achieve it, it is a very satisfying feeling. So yeah, that's what I take away from that race, and I hope you guys have enjoyed watching the race. If you haven't watched it back, I would recommend doing so, because it is full of suspense until the very end. Yeah, okay, you saw some spoilers now, but there's a lot of stuff happening, there's a lot of stuff going on, there's a real roller coaster in those 60 minutes, and it's worthwhile watching it, I guess. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Michi's Esport Diaries. Hope that you have a good time and a very nice weekend, and we see you there next time. Goodbye.